Hello and welcome to Code to Cloud. This is our second episode on basically building a roadmap for your cloud career and what skills you need. In the first episode, we did like a 10,000 foot approach of what was the overall holistic landscape of what skills I need and the stages of building a cloud career. In this second episode, we're going to focus on soft skills. So let's bring up the whiteboard and let's get to it. So, similar to the last episode, I've broken it down. We're going to go from left to right. We're going to go through the soft skills that you need, right, as part of your tech career. Now, these get overlooked quite often, right? And these are things that need to be developed. Now, I talked about how when I improved and honed my soft skills, that it made a greater impact on my day-to-day, work life, and two, it made a better impact on my career. From articulating myself to writing the right emails to presentations. These are all skills that you're going to need, right, to operate in tech. So let's just bring this over. So what are soft skills? So soft skills are, this is how I've broken them down, human interaction and productivity, right? So let's go through the subcategories, right? And let's delve into them a little bit more, So some of these are going to be pieces of software or websites that you need to look at. The others are going to be how you actually operate yourself, right? So, self-awareness, the way that you communicate, that kind of thing. So let's take a look. So the first one I've put is it's kind of big. I got introduced to this back in, I'm going to say 2009, 2010. That's a long time ago, so I'm dating myself. Begin a LinkedIn profile. So for folks that don't know what LinkedIn is, it's a professional networking site. Go to linkedin.com. You can create a free profile, and it's a way to advocate and spread the message about yourself and the work that you do, right? I spend a lot of time on there sharing content that I've done. It's got my work history. I mean, let's just bring up my profile dead quickly. If I bring up LinkedIn, you see that I'm already logged in. If I go to view profile, I've got my profile here. So I've got my title, my name, what I talk about. I've got hashtags included in that. And if I scroll down, I've got the posts that I've made, right? Which obviously introduces networking opportunities to speak to other folks and, other people in my community or my industry, which obviously improves my knowledge and awareness of what's going on. And then I can scroll down, right? There's an about section, right, that I filled out, about my background and what I do. And then there's my experience, right? So my current role at Microsoft, the positions I've held, that kind of thing. It's a bit like a living resume, right? That's what I like about it. It's something that you can use as a reference and, be able to rely on, right? When you're either developing your resume or if you're doing business with folks and you want people to know who you are. I do all the time, especially with customers and they don't know who I am. Just throw them over my LinkedIn profile. It gives them a chance to go and read through my background and review my credentials. But not only job roles, there's education. And then there's stuff like licenses, right? And certifications. So if I show you this, but yeah, here's all the certifications that I've taken. And it's publicly available, right? So they've been validated by Credly, obviously, but they're on there. And then any recommendations that I've had as well, right? So those are on there. So people that I've done work with or worked on the same team as them in the past, they've given me recommendations. So it's a really good place to start. If you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, get one created. If you're looking for connections, reach out to me. Connect with me, right? It's a start. It's taken me a while to sort of develop and hone in on my LinkedIn profile, but it really does deliver value, right? And it's opened up opportunities for me. So create a LinkedIn profile, develop your LinkedIn profile. There's blogs online, right, to help you develop and sort of get that right layout, right? It's not a resume, so people need to remember that. When they first create their LinkedIn profile, they basically copy and paste that from their resume straight onto that. Less is more when it comes to the layout and the text involved. Grow your network, publish content. your learnings. You pass a certification or you achieve something, get it published on there. It shows your network that you're committed to self-development and you're learning as well, right? So it's a great place to sort of advocate that. So on the second one, we've got community. Now, community is massive, right? To me, especially the tech community. It's understanding, the amount of amazing folks. It's been absolutely huge for me that I've met on the online community. Folks that have helped me, mentored me, shown me to new job positions, new roles that have become available, or just learning new tech, right? Someone publishes a blog or whatever, right? You read it, you get skilled up, you learn something new. So where do you need to start, right? So with the tech community, they're on selective social media platforms. So the tech community on X, formerly known as Twitter, again, if you're looking to find out where the tech community is, do a hashtag on, either DevOps, cloud, or platform engineering, or cybersecurity, right? Whatever's, you're sort of working towards. You can follow me, right, to figure out, and find out new people as well that are connected to me. Another thing to look at is if you just bring up a search engine and you're working with a piece of tech, you can pretty much find a Discord server, right, that's doing that piece of tech as well. I know for some of the services, like I'm just going to use the Radius app for an example, right? They've got a Discord server. You can join that and meet like-minded community members, and then you can also then reach out to them on LinkedIn and connect with them there, right? Or reach out to them on Twitter or X, right? And connect to them there. Join LinkedIn groups. There's hundreds of thousands of groups on LinkedIn, from DevOps to cloud to Azure, right? Whatever's your, the direction that you're going in, look up LinkedIn groups. Great place to meet people and obviously learn new stuff as well. Find public Slack channels as well, right? So the amount of Slack channels that I'm a member of, like the Cloud Native Computing Foundation has an open Slack channel, right, for the Kubernetes community. Join that, right? You might not know anything, but by joining it, then you're learning what's going on, right, with latest releases of Kubernetes, but you're also meeting people from the community. And again, you can reach out to them on LinkedIn or X, right, and then connect with them and follow them and start learning and see what they're up to. Listen to podcasts. Just go to your favorite podcast provider, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, type in your favorite tech stack. I am sure there is a podcast on that, right? I have a podcast on cybersecurity called Security Without Borders, right? You can go and check that out. It's a great place to learn again. Like you could be on your morning jog, you could be walking the dog, you can be doing your commute to work. There's Azure podcasts, there's developer podcasts, there's all sorts of podcasts. You can be listening to this, right, while you're, trying to decompress or just drive to work or get the train to work, etc. Again, you're meeting the hosts or the guests. You're listening to them. You find them on LinkedIn. You can connect with them. Again, you're improving your network. Find relative YouTube channels. Now, you found this one. There's plenty more, right? Find a relative YouTube channel that's aligned to your learning approach and to the tech stack that you're looking at. Again, that YouTube channel could have a host on there that you want to follow and connect with, or there could be guests on there that you think, wow, what they talked about was really cool, really amazing. I want to learn more about that. Again, default back to LinkedIn and on X, follow them, connect with them, right? Learn more about what they're doing. Join local meetups. Now, this is underrated. Now, since the pandemic that we had a few years back, this was a bit more difficult, but it's become a lot easier. I run 2 meetups myself, right, for the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. The amount of people I meet from my local community there is just amazing, right? From all different walks of life, working in different companies, the insights, the connections, the community feel is absolutely great. And you don't have to be an expert. You just need to turn up. And if they're a really good meetup, they'll put you on, some food and some beverages, right? And so you get to learn and you get to eat something at the same time. So go and check it out, right? Go and check it out. Go and look for local meetups. Find one that's aligned to, you know, the direction that you're covering. I'm sure there's a Microsoft Azure one, and I know there's definitely a cloud native computing foundation in most cities and towns. If there isn't, there's an opportunity for you there to host one and get one created, right? Great for upskilling yourself. Great for, again, getting involved with the community. And then there's GitHub, right? So joining open source communities on GitHub, you know, raising issues for particular repos or code. Again, getting your name out there, right? You know, GitHub is absolutely huge. Something that you should really invest in, something that you should really take a look into. You know, it's basically the source of truth when we're committing our code to our repo. So go and check that out. And you see where I've circled this back right here in the bottom left is network and connect. You know, community and LinkedIn profile go hand in hand, right? And then we have, if we just scroll over to the right, we have resume and cover letters. So these are still relevant. These are still important. They're a traditional method for applying for roles. Like I talked about previously, it's normally for a HR process or a recruitment process. You know, making sure you've got a good resume is paramount, right? For you trying to land that role. You've got to change that resume and cover letter for each role that you're applying for, or each job position. A lot of these recruiters / HR folks will use tools to scan for code words to get you into the next stage, right, or the first stage of an interview loop. So remember to check that out. If in doubt, get onto your favorite search engine, search for templates, right? That's what I did back in the day, was look for templates online, try and get some advice. Again, if you don't know, once you've got a big enough LinkedIn profile, reach out to your connections and ask them to review your resume or CV, right? To try and get that like crisp template that you're looking for. Keep it under 2 pages, right? So when I was a hiring manager, I once had a CV that was nearly 15 pages long. To be honest, I didn't care after about 2 pages. And that seems to be the golden rule. And the reason being is less is more, right? You want to be impactful. You want to show off your technical skills, and then you want to highlight, you know, your recent experience from the last 3 roles that you've got on average. Now, I know there's, you know, issues with having career breaks, as they like to call them, or gaps on your resume or your CV. Personally, if I was the hiring manager, I'd normally overlook that, right? There's a reason for that. You could have been laid off, something could have happened, but I understand, you know, the recommendation is not to have any breaks on your CV or resume. But again, less is more. Keep it concise. I want to know your technical skills. I want to know what roles you've done, and I want to know the success outcomes, right, at a high level in each of those roles. That's what I'd be personally looking for. Again, get it validated. Find a recruiter friend. Get them to look at it. That's what I did. It's find people that are in the know, right, are in the business of that at the other side of the table to help you review and curate your resume / CV / cover letter. So like I said, use keywords relative to you and the role. Keep it simple and readable, right? We're not writing code here, right? We're going to make it sure it's readable for humans. It's required for the HR hiring process. And again, ask the community to review it. Presentation skills. Now, this is something that's taken me a while to develop, right? Typical techie, just concentrated on the tech, but actually getting your presentation skills down is really going to help you, right? So learn how to PowerPoint. I mean, we've all had those classes in high school, right? Making our very colorful and, you know, emotionally charged PowerPoint presentations. Learn how to PowerPoint. Learn how to create simple but effective PowerPoint slides, right? Again, go your favorite search engine, check out YouTube. There's going to be people on there, right, that are going to be better at this. See how they do it. Some interviews that you do will require you to actually do a PowerPoint presentation. So learning how that works. And again, less is more, because nobody wants to be, you know, deaf by PowerPoint. Develop your conversation skills. sometimes it's going to be quite hard, right, for introverts and especially people in the tech industry. But this is something that, will happen and will get better with experience. It's more of a struggle for some folks, right? Or there may be some challenges. Maybe you're neurodiverse, but at the end of the day, trying to figure out how to make this a bit easier, because this is something I really struggled with early in my career, right? And even up to a few years ago, I'm neurodiverse myself. It was, making eye contact, and I know these can be an absolute struggle for some folks, but like eye contact, how I present myself, that kind of thing is difficult. And to be quite honest, if you are struggling with that, you need to let the recruitment process know, the HR process know that that's happening, so they can basically accommodate that as well, right? Because it's on both sides of the table. You want to work for a company that does accommodate this and does support you, right? Come as you are, right? At the end of the day. But learning how to develop your conversation skills is really going to help. Public speaking. It's really scary. It really is. Standing up in front of people, again, you could be presenting up at your local meetup. You could be, joining a Ask Me Anything session on LinkedIn or YouTube. But like, even just turning up to those sessions is going to improve your confidence in the way that you articulate yourself. Produce content for social media. Could be a how-to video, could be a quick short, it could be some quick presentation or a poster, right, with just the basics of these are the, top 5 Linux commands that you need, right, to be able to operate Linux. Developing content shows that you validated your learning and you're able to reproduce it, right? The best way of learning something is the ability to teach it to someone else. That's how you can truly validate that you've learned something and digested it. Check your audience. Now, when you're in an interview situation or in a meeting, understanding if your audience is engaged is super powerful. And it's something that you build up with experience. I've been in situations where, the audience was either engaged or just completely just turned off and bored, right? So check your audience, understand what's going well. Maybe if they're starting to tune out, move on to the next section, right? Understand how that works. Again, less is more. Plan your engagements, right? When it comes to presentation, you can totally see through someone that's just turned up and not done any prep at all, right? The way that they've developed their content or their presentation style, it can be completely obvious. So try and plan your engagements. Again, it's a bit like prepping for an audition. You need to know your lines. Let's go over to interview skills. So here's some of the stuff that I've picked up on in the past. But research the company. It's really good to research the company, right? I've had mixed reviews on this. Knowing what they generally do is probably 60 to 70% of the way there, right? You don't work there, so you're not going to know everything, right, about the company. I've had it where I've been asked the history of the company, when it was founded, right, that kind of thing, and that to me is, well, it may be relevant, but is it actually part of my role at the end of the day, right? It's a nice to have, but like it all depends on the interviewer, right? So research the company, understand what they're doing. A great thing is, try and understand what their next, 12-month plan is, their 2-year plan, right? Which direction they're going in, why they're looking to hire such a person, right? For a job offering, a job opportunity, that kind of thing. Self-awareness, again, a bit like check your audience, but understand your limitations, understand your strengths and weaknesses. If you concentrate more on your strengths, you've probably got a higher success rate, right, of trying to get through to that next stage of the interview loop or even get a job offer. Communication, right? So again, the way that you talk to certain people will have different you'll have different feedback, right? Different effects, right? So some people be able to talk to them in a very normal manner. Some people you have to talk to them in a very formal manner, right? So understand how you communicate. Adaptability, so being able to pivot on the spot. You may have multiple people interviewing you. They're all going to have different personalities and different approaches. So a bit like a salesperson, you're going to have to be able to pivot on the spot, right? To be able to communicate with them in the right way. Confidence. It's a hard one, right? Because we all put our game face on when we go to an interview. But again, the more experience that you get, right? The more interviews that you have, the better your confidence is going to be. Again, coming back to researching the company, making sure that you plan your engagements and prep for your interview is going to give you a higher confidence level, right? Know your subject matter, right? So again, don't lie, don't pretend that you know something, because the interview people will see through it. Active listening. So listen to the questions, listen to what's being asked, right? Try and understand what business problem are they trying to solve by hiring potentially you, right? Try and look at it from a consultative point of view. Problem solving, right? Advocating how you problem solve. So you potentially might not have come from a previous tech role, but if you've worked in another role where you've diffused customer situations, or you've unblocked issues for customers, or business issues or business problems, that's troubleshooting, right? So it's all about the way how you're able to convey that message to the interview panel in question. Professionalism, right? Turning up, dressing for the part, looking the part, the way that you act, the way that you convey yourself, the way the conversation's handling. You want professionalism. You haven't got the job yet. These are your future work colleagues, potentially. So going in there with a professional attitude is going to help you, right? Enthusiasm, right? If you're really invested in the tech stack or the technology or the job role, it's going to come across. You're more likely to be hired off the back of that, right? Because you're more invested. The energy is going to come through. You're going to show that it looks, show that you're really committed to it. And, you really want to get involved with this. And then follow-ups, right? So this is a mixed bag. You don't want to do it too much, because you don't want the cadence of a follow-up to be too intense. So, a week after your interview, drop the recruiter or the HR person an email just saying, hey, I enjoyed the experience. I just wondered if you had any feedback, that kind of thing. Just lets them know that you're interested and that your name is always top of mind, right? When they're trying to refer back to you. Now, if they're a really good company, they should have a process where you've automated, there should be an automated process to alert you on any decisions that are made on your job application process or your interview loop process. And then finally, office productivity tools. Again, we all just want to concentrate on the tech stack. But and I don't mean a master, but just proficient in Office 365, so Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Excel, is gonna really help you in your day-to-day role, right? I don't just talk about technology, but I have to manage my calendar. I have to make sure that I curate emails in the right way, that I produce the right presentations, that kind of thing. So having those basic skills is really going to help. Having awareness of Teams and Slack and how they work. They're basically collaboration tools for instant messaging. You can get Slack for free. Go and get that installed. Again, goes back to joining Slack channels, right? Understanding how they work. They've got their complete own ecosystem going on there, and the way that the people communicate with each other. ChatGPT, it enlightened our lives last year. Using this is going to give you an edge, right? You should always check your data when you're using AI tools, right? Just to clarify. But if in doubt, go to ChatGPT. If it's for spell checking, if it's for, am I right in this email in the right way? That kind of thing, right? ChatGPT is very powerful, right? Using OneNote, right, to take notes, that kind of thing. MS Planner / Trello. So understanding how how agile process works, and this has been a game changer for me, especially being neurodiverse myself. I'm able to create all my job tasks in there, what's in the backlog, what's upcoming, what's in progress, what's completed. And it's really good to see that completed swim lane just fill up, right? So you feel like you've achieved stuff every day as well. Again, you can go and create basically a planner board for, improving your cloud skills, right? Or building a cloud career roadmap. You can chunk it up into sections. When you're trying to break down an issue or break down a project and it's absolutely huge, break it down into chunks, right? Makes it more achievable. And the ones that you do get stuck on, you can obviously reach out to the community for help, right? Try and figure out what the next steps are. And then when you become, once you work towards becoming an architect or a platform engineer, then you have to sometimes draw architecture diagrams. So Microsoft Visio has been around for years, right? It was actually used by architects that built buildings and created blueprints, but now the tech community has also started. It's been using it for years for drawing architecture diagrams for workloads, either on premise or in the cloud, or creating blueprints for their networking or their data centers. Draw.io is another one that you can find online, and I think it's free to sign up as well. So that's the end of soft skills, episode 2. I hope you found it useful. On our next episode, we are going to look at tech skills, which I know everybody is looking forward to. But really honing in on your soft skills is really important. I can't emphasize it enough. But yeah, if you've liked what you've seen today, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Again, I'm trying to blueprint stuff that's helped for me in my cloud career, so I hope it helps you. But I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.
Yeah.